According to an ancient legend, King Lalibela received divine inspiration in a dream in which he was instructed to create a complex of temples symbolizing the New Jerusalem. In 1989, in the depths of northern Ethiopia, archaeologists discovered in Lalibela a hidden complex of mysterious rock churches, carved with incredible precision. The discovery of these temples is directly linked to the myth of King Lalibela's dream, and begs the question, could the ancient craftsman have received help from beyond the grave? However, this discovery is only the beginning of the story. Ethiopia, seemingly cut off from the rest of the world, turns out to be a time capsule, a keeper of ancient knowledge and artifacts that tell of a past filled with mystery and incredible stories. If you think you know the history of Ethiopia, prepare to be surprised. The secrets that this land holds may change everything we thought to be true. Believe it or not, the key to solving some of the greatest mysteries of our time lies here in the heart of Africa. Who built the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela? In the heart of Ethiopia, deeply carved into the earth, is a hidden secret that whispers the story of an ancient miracle: the carved churches in the rocks of Lalibela. Imagine a set of 11 churches that were not built on the ground, but were painstakingly sculpted down, directly from the living rock. With an architectural precision that rivals modern laser technology, these structures look less like the work of human hands than a creation from another world. But who could have built these magnificent buildings? Legend has it that King Lalibela, who had the idea of creating a new Jerusalem for those unable to make the pilgrimage to the Holy Land, commissioned these churches in the 12th century. The scale of the undertaking and the speed with which the structures appeared led to the suspicion of divine intervention. The heavenly builders, angels, worked tirelessly at night while humans took over the work during the day. For in a country where history and myth intertwine, there is nothing strange about enlisting angel builders to expedite your divine architectural project. The rock-cut churches of Lalibela are a majestic testament to the deep religiosity and skill of their creators. Sculpted directly into the rock, using only a hammer and chisel, the churches represent a unique architectural feat, being carved both outside and inside, creating imposing interior spaces enriched with religious symbols, crosses, swastikas, and stars of David, reflecting biblical connections and claims of descent from King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Historians and archaeologists to this day cannot explain the completion of such a massive project in just 24 years. Among the main churches of Lalibela stand out Bet Georgis, dedicated to St. George, and Beti Medhane Alem, considered the largest monolithic church in the world. Each of these churches is unique in its own way, with distinct plans and architectural features that incorporate influences from the Aksumite Empire evident in the decorative elements and construction techniques. Current attempts to preserve and restore churches are accompanied by challenges, such as insufficient communication between the various parties involved. Nevertheless, Lalibela remains a living center of faith, attracting pilgrims and visitors from all over the world who gather here for major Christian festivals such as Jenna, Nativity, and Timkat, Epiphany. According to legend, angels and humans worked hand in hand to turn the rocks into shrines, symbolizing the unity between heaven and earth. The Ark of the Covenant, hidden in Ethiopia? According to ancient lore and modern research, the Ark of the Covenant, which is central to the Jewish and Christian religions, is believed to have been transported to Ethiopia and is kept in the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum. This version of the story is supported by various sources, including medieval writings and contemporary analyses. According to biblical accounts, the Ark was crafted at God's command to Moses during his 40-day sojourn on Mount Sinai, and was intended to preserve the 10 Commandments carved in stone tablets. Over the centuries, the Ark has played an important role in the religious life of the Israelites and is believed to carry divine presence and power. Over time, researchers have proposed various hypotheses for the Ark's journey from Israel to Ethiopia, The most supported version tells of Menelik I, son of Sheba, better known as the Queen of Sheba, and King Solomon, carrying the ark to Ethiopia after the destruction of Solomon's temple. This story is rooted in the deep connection between the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and Jewish traditions, highlighting the importance of the ark in the Ethiopian Christian faith. The Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum is believed to be where the ark is kept today. It is kept in a specially protected room, to which only the chosen guardian monk has access, who dedicates his entire life to guarding the ark and does not leave the fenced area around the church until his death. This tradition emphasizes the sacredness and mystery surrounding the ark, and has been passed down from generation to generation in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The choice of the monk who looks after the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia is shrouded in mystery and strict religious rituals. This responsibility is entrusted to a monk who is chosen to dedicate his entire life to this work. The choice is based on deep spirituality, devotion, and strict observance of religious traditions. The monk who becomes keeper of the ark, in addition to living in isolation, leads an ascetic life dedicated to prayer and worship. The special training and rituals to which the guardian monk is subjected are aimed at maintaining his spiritual purity and his ability to care for the ark. These rituals and practices have been passed down through the centuries and are an important part of the tradition that keeps alive the connection between the Ethiopian people and their religious history. One of the most interesting aspects of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is that each of its churches houses a tabot, a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. These tabots are considered sacred and play an important role in the religious life of the community. Each year, on January 19th, during the feast of Timkat, Epiphany, the tabots are taken out in procession, which is one of the most important and lavish events in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, demonstrating the common faith and reverence for the Ark of the Covenant. While the mystery surrounding the true location of the Ark of the Covenant continues to arouse interest and speculation, Ethiopian tradition offers a unique insight into its history and significance, cementing Ethiopia's place as an important center of Christian faith and heritage. Now is the perfect time to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Ethiopia in the Bible, the Land of Punt. Ethiopia, known in ancient texts as Cush, occupies a remarkable place in the Bible and Egyptian history, with speculation that it may be the mystical Land of Punt. Ethiopia is mentioned repeatedly in the Bible, highlighting its deep spiritual and cultural ties to the ancient world. According to the books of Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Acts, Ethiopia is presented as a land associated with powerful kings and wealth, as well as with early Christianity through the story of the Ethiopian eunuch who was baptized as one of the first Christians outside of Israel. The Land of Punt, on the other hand, is described in Egyptian texts as a source of riches such as gold, ointment, and exotic animals, which were imported to Egypt from this mysterious territory. Egyptian records, including Hatshepsut's expedition to Punt, tell of trade missions that brought precious cargo back to Egypt, showing pictures of fertile land with abundant resources. Speculation about Ethiopia as the Land of Punt is based on several factors, including the country's geographical location and the riches with which it is associated. Archaeological finds in Ethiopia that show ancient trade links with Egypt support the theory that it may have been part of the routes used for trade between the two civilizations. Furthermore, the cultural and religious links between Ethiopia and the ancient Near East add another step to the possibility that Ethiopia was the fabled Land of Punt. Although direct evidence for the identification of Punt with modern Ethiopia is still lacking, Ethiopia's cultural and historical heritage, along with archaeological discoveries, offer a compelling context for considering this connection. The mystery surrounding the Land of Punt continues to excite scholars and inspire further research in archaeology and biblical history. Thank you for your support of the channel. As a token of appreciation, please write in a comment the topic on which you would like us to create a video. If your comment with the suggested topic gets the most likes within 72 hours of posting the video, there is a chance to see your suggestion covered by us. The oldest Bible is found in Ethiopia. The discovery of the Garima Gospels in an Ethiopian monastery represents one of the most significant finds in the history of Christian written heritage. These ancient texts, written in the Giza language, are believed to have been composed between the 4th and 7th centuries, making them some of the earliest surviving complete Christian manuscripts. Based on radiocarbon analysis, Garima II, the earlier of the two manuscripts, dates to between 390 and 570, supporting the thesis of their antiquity. The Garima Gospels are exceptional for their vivid illustrations, which include portraits of the evangelists and present scenes of Christian iconography in a style characteristic of the 6th century. Although the text was written in Ethiopia, some scholars have speculated that the illustrations may have been imported from Syria or Egypt, while others oppose that both the text and illuminations were produced in Ethiopia itself. None of the manuscripts contain a colophon, i.e., a concluding section or note that usually contains information about the manuscript's history, authorship, dating, or place of production. But a historical note in Garima II, referring to repairs to churches made by King Armiko, who can be identified as King Armak of Aksum, who ruled between 600 and 640, gives us some starting point. The front covers of both manuscripts are also extremely old, with that of Garima I being the original of the manuscript itself, making it the oldest book cover still attached to its book in the world. The first information related to the Garima Gospels outside of Ethiopia dates back to 1950, when British art historian Beatrice Pleen visited the monastery. Due to the ban on women entering the monastery, the monks kindly took a few manuscripts outside for her to examine. The historian was shocked by her discovery. Subsequent research and analysis, including radiocarbon dating carried out at Oxford University, confirmed the antiquity of the manuscripts, with Garima II dated between 390 and 570, and Garima I between 530 and 660, making them older even than the Syriac illustrated Rabula Gospels, dated to 586. This is a discovery that shows us how developed early Christian literature and art were in Ethiopia. The Book of Enoch, an Ethiopian exclusive. The Book of Enoch, also known as 1 Enoch, is an ancient Jewish apocalyptic religious work that tradition attributes to the patriarch Enoch, the father of Methuselah and great-grandfather of Noah. This text contains unique material on the origin of demons and Nephilim, explains why certain angels fell from heaven, and provides a prophetic exposition of the millennial reign of the Messiah. Interestingly, the Book of Enoch has been preserved in its entirety only in the Ge'ez, Ethiopic language, thanks to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which accepts the text as canonical even though it is excluded from the biblical canon of most Jewish and Christian communities. It is believed that the Book of Enoch was originally written in Aramaic or Hebrew, the languages used for the first Jewish texts. Various Aramaic fragments of the book have been found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as Greek and Latin fragments, attesting to the familiarity of the Book of Enoch by the early Jews and Christians of the Near East. This work is quoted by some 1st and 2nd century writers, and the authors of the New Testament are known to have been familiar with some parts of the book. Although the Book of Enoch was widely read during the Second Temple period, today the Ethiopian community of Beth Israel, Ethiopian Jews, and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church are the only ones to accept the book as canonical, where it plays an important role in worship. The main reason for Judaism's rejection of the book is that it is considered inconsistent with Torah teachings. However, Ethiopia continues to be the custodian of this enigmatic text, offering a unique insight into ancient religious traditions and knowledge. One possible reason Ethiopia became the custodian of this text may be its early adaptation to Christianity in the 4th century under King Ezana of Aksum, making it one of the first Christian states. The preservation of such texts highlights the importance of Ethiopia as a center of early Christianity and its significant role in the preservation of ancient knowledge and wisdom. On the other hand, the country's unique geographical and cultural position makes it a crossroads of civilizations, which may have contributed to the preservation of such valuable texts as the Book of Enoch. It is intriguing to consider why Ethiopia in particular has become the custodian of this encyclopedic text that offers profound reflections on existence and cosmic order. Could it be that the ancient Ethiopians were drawn to the mystical and apocalyptic elements of the book that resonated with their own religious and philosophical views? Or was the preservation of the Book of Enoch in Ethiopia the result of unique historical circumstances that isolated these texts from the rest of the Christian world, where they were rejected, forgotten, or destroyed? Whatever the explanation, Ethiopia offers a unique perspective on one of the most enigmatic and little-known parts of religious history. Through the preservation of the Book of Enoch, this ancient land continues to witness the complex interplay of belief, culture, and knowledge through the ages. In this way, Ethiopia not only preserves an important religious text, but also maintains a connection to an ancient world that can still offer us wisdom and guidance. A detailed video about the Book of Enoch can be found in the description of this video. Ethiopia's Timekeeping, a 13-month calendar. The Ethiopian calendar is unique with its 13 months, making it ideal for those who have always thought that 12 months is not enough for anything. This calendar is based on the ancient Coptic calendar, which is closely related to the Julian calendar. It consists of 12 months of 30 days each, plus an additional 13th month called Pagum, which has 5 or 6 days in the leap year. This structure is derived from the ancient Egyptian and Alexandrian calendars, reflecting Ethiopia's deep historical roots. It is interesting to note that the Ethiopian calendar begins its year with the incarnation, birth, of Jesus in 7 BC, according to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, while the Gregorian calendar places his birth in 1 AD, which explains the difference of about 7 years between the beginnings of the two calendar years. The Ethiopian calendar is not just a method of measuring time, it is embedded in the cultural and spiritual life of the nation. Its 13 months are named and arranged in a special way, each occupying a unique place in the lives of Ethiopians. For example, the new year, Meskerem, begins on September 11th, or September 12th in a leap year, representing a time of renewal and celebration. This calendar distribution is a symbol of Ethiopia's resilience and ability to maintain its traditions in a rapidly changing world. Despite the global dominance of the Gregorian calendar, Ethiopia today continues to follow its system that keeps alive its connection to its ancient roots and highlights the country's rich cultural heritage. This calendar is not only a hallmark of Ethiopian culture, but also offers a unique insight into the way time and history are perceived and celebrated in different parts of the world. Deepen your adventure by watching our playlists. And if you want more, just play the next episode that comes up as a suggestion on the left.